Step into the dream bucket.
Dream bucket.
Send us your dreams. Step into the dream bucket.
Dream bucket.
And Casey, Nick, and her dad are on the scene. Into the dream bucket.
Dream, dream, dream.
Send us your dreams.
Send us
Step
your dream.
into the dream bucket.
Dream bucket.
And Casey, Nick, and her dad are on the scene.
Dream. Yeah.
La 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 la. This is the singing show. Oh no, this is not the singing bucket.
Not the singing
This is
show.
Dream
We
Bucket?
just found out about record labels and
Record
how
labels, yes.
evil they are.
Casey's got a scheme to get rich now.
I have another scheme.
And
to
this is
get
all of us
rich.
getting rich
Yes,
together?
Yes, fuck yeah.
So we now have a scheme to get rich
we
together.
have a scheme to get rich
Cannot
together.
tell the listener. Also, Nick and I
cannot.
don't know it yet.
Yes, that's okay.
But we do trust the
Guess
instructions.
what? We're about to be world fucking wide.
Worldwide.
Listen, this scheme.
I'd like to be rich and not have anybody know me.
Okay. There's
notoriety
doxing.
is-
There's doxing, and you've mentioned. I've been thinking about this a lot.
I would like
about
an
how
alias.
easy it is for us to get doxed. But look, let me tell you
I
why I
forgot
was
what
thinking
that
about
is.
this. It's where people find your address and stuff, and then they like threaten to like
Yes.
fondle
Yeah.
you
Be a
or like
politician
beat
right
you
now.
or
They're
kill
gonna,
you.
Yep, you're going to get that.
Yeah, because guess what? Okay, let me tell you where this came from.
Or get swatted.
I'm only gonna ask Nick because I already know John. You're gonna be like, no.
No.
Okay. Have you guys followed the series Who the Fuck Did I Marry?
I've
What?
heard of it. I've not. No.
Okay. All right.
Who the fuck did I marry?
You need to get into it, and I'm about to fucking send it to Kirsten so she can like really get the fuck into it. Basically, not to spoil it for anybody who has not watched. I watched all 50 parts. Okay.
All 50 parts.
All 50 parts. So it was a TikTok series, and again, I don't have TikTok.
It's a TikTok series?
Yes.
So you watch this on TikTok?
Nope, YouTube. I can't have a TikTok. I'm not allowed to have TikTok. Don't ask me why.
Chinese government problems.
I don't know, but I'm not meant to have a TikTok. I'm not supposed to have a TikTok. Every time I think about downloading TikTok, there's a voice that says no.
Oh, that's clear. I wish that voice came more often for me.
Yeah, I wish that voice would fuck
just-
around when I'm by Chipotle too, but
Yeah,
here
you're-
we go. So it's just a fucking hard no.
tacos.
So this lady met a dude. Now, when I was in episode 1, she was like, oh, on my way to a date, she matched him on 2 different dating profiles. And they were like, oh, isn't that a coinky dink?
With who?
She matched.
It wasn't.
right. She matched with this guy on 2 different like dating profiles. Like he had 2 different names. She calls him Legion, which was really fucking foreshadowing.
This is from the marriage show?
No, it's not a show. It was just like her story. So she just turned it into 50. And you know, TikTok is like,
She
what, a
took
minute
her life
long.
story and turned it into a 50-part.
She took the story of this marriage.
Kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the band. So she took a bunch of footage of herself and her going through this and then chopped it up into little bits.
But she took the aftermath. She was in her car, and then Mercedes and BMW, they were all commenting under like, oh, you look so good telling this story. Look better in a BMW. Look better in a this. Look better in it, right? Because she told the story in a car a lot of the time. She was like, the story is, who the fuck did I marry? And it talks about her marriage to this guy that she referred to as Legion, which was very foreshadowing, you know, because when those demons possessed that fucking dude in the Bible, and it was like, who are you? And it's like, we are Legion. Okay. And then they had to go into pigs and go off a cliff. Yeah, that was that guy. So she's like, I'm just going to call him Legion. And no bullshit, it was pretty fitting. Like in the beginning of it, you're like, why would you call him Legion?
Why would somebody watch this?
Because it was crazy. It was, first of all, I had been
love the
hearing
drama.
about it. I had been hearing about it, and I thought
50
it was
parts. This is you do relationship therapy stuff, and you watch 50 episodes of somebody talking about the aftermath of their marriage.
Listen to what I'm saying, okay? Because you're saying it. It sounds real bad, okay?
well, how long is each part?
Oh, each part is like a minute.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
she just
yeah.
did like an hour.
Yeah,
worth
no,
of
no,
her
because it's like
talking,
TikTok-
and then she broke it up so it could be.
That's
social
what I meant by
media.
the little parts. Yeah.
Yeah, so like however
I was
long
like,
a TikTok.
man,
no,
that's
no.
a
50 hours of
50
this.
episodes of this
No,
woman's-
it's like it's not even a minute. It's like I think it's like 45 seconds. I don't know how long a TikTok. I don't have TikTok, right? So it's however long a TikTok video is. It's like not allowed to be more than like, I think it's like 90 seconds or whatever. So she had to. It broke telling a story. It ended up being 50 episodes, but it wasn't. You know, some of them were like 2 minutes, 1 minute. So whatever, it was pretty short. So who the fuck did I marry? So she fucking, on her way to on this date, her tire explodes. And everybody in the comments was like, that was God trying to stop you from going on this fucking date with this dude. Because this happened during COVID. She was in Atlanta. Atlanta shut down. 2 weeks after meeting him, she moved in with him. She's like, oh, let's just shut in together or whatever it was called, lock down together or shelter and stay together. And then just fucking chaos ensued.
Of course.
Afterward. And it was like the most crazy shit. And she just...
People making bad decisions, getting bad results.
Oh my gosh. It was like... And then she married him. And it was just...
More bad decisions.
Oh my gosh.
And bad results. And then she's surprised afterwards.
She was...
And then gets a bunch of online notoriety out of it.
Okay.
It's like...
That's exactly what happened.
Is this your plan?
No, fuck no.
Okay.
No, she had a bad... They asked her, like, why did you do that? And she said, I wanted to be married. I wanted it to be my turn. I wanted, everybody around me was having this kind of life. And I wanted that for myself.
Well, yeah.
And I couldn't get on Love is Blind.
Yeah, it's like people making their own reality shows.
I mean,
on the side, off of like I was done at reality TV.
Yeah,
like part of the reason I don't watch a lot of stuff is like I was done at that, and like I don't get what we're doing here, and then it keeps going, and now it's just like further into the rabbit hole of like what is not reality, what is people taking their lives and then making them unreal and dressing them for other people to look at them and have them in an extreme version and then have us thinking we're interacting with real life.
Yes.
And then we get so caught into that and then we go like, oh my God. And now we have a president who believes in who says fake news.
Yeah. And
then we're like, no, it's not fake. It's all real. Like, no, it's not. Like, what? Of course we get him.
It's, and I just saw a clip from Love is Blind. I don't even watch that show, but I just saw a clip from it. Like, I feel like I watched the show because I see clips.
I have.
Right. I saw a clip from it where the guy, it was like some black dude and black girl, and like they were at the altar and he was like, I care about you a lot, like I love you, but I can't marry you. And she was just like sitting there crying like, what the fuck? Like her whole family was there. They were all there. And like, she's like, I can't marry you. And then they were like ripping this dude to shreds because he did not go through with this real legally binding marriage. And then afterwards, some people in the comments were just like, he actually knew he wasn't like ready for marriage and he actually takes marriage pretty serious. So like, even though he signed up for this show where he knows in the end the goal is for you to marry some person you've never met, he like couldn't in good conscience go through with it. So like, he really did them both a favor by not doing that. And like, everybody was like, fuck you. That's not true. You're fucking dumb as hell. He wasted her time. # waste a bitch time. And I'm like, damn.
Right.
Did he really waste her time? Because I feel like that was, and he said it in it. Like, he was just like, I want to still date you. I want to still be with you. I want us to know each other after this in a real capacity before we get married. And she was just mad as fuck and like super pissed about it. And I was like, I feel like that was pretty reasonable. I mean, minus the going on reality TV show, like I feel like that was a pretty reasonable decision.
But it's reasonable in the context of reality television, which means you're going against the rules of reality television.
Yeah, that was.
And I think that was the idea of it. Because I think you're exactly right. That's probably for the best for them both, right? But I can see why people are pissed off because, these aren't actually real people, even though we want them to be real people. That's not entertaining.
We want them to act like they're these kinds of real people.
Right.
We want them to pretend, which is what acting is.
Yeah.
So we just dressed acting differently so that we could lower the bar kind of on what the actor was, and then we could up the amount of us being outraged about them acting odd. So now it's like, oh my gosh, they're I can't believe they're like that. I can't believe that's how they are. And then we can, in the comments, freak out because underneath it all is just people really want more drama and they want to be upset and enraged about stuff. So this just sets up more environment for us to be outraged about stuff because it really happened. Whereas in your life, plenty of stuff happened last week. That could be the content, but we don't want to talk about that. So we do again and again, like somebody, my mother I was talking to today, loves to talk about everybody else's life. So that whole time is about everything else, and that just keeps it from coming back on you, and it keeps you from actually doing the work on your own stuff.
John, I'm proud of you.
What'd I do?
I'm proud of you. I'm not gonna mention it. I'm just proud of you. I'm very proud of you But anyways, moving right along.
I feel like a small child who just got patted on the head by my teacher.
I'm very proud.
And I don't even know what I did
no,
right.
that's so good. That's so good, though. You know, yeah, last week was a bummer for sure. Yeah. You know, I think it's okay. For me, I watch.
Have you had a week that
TV.
Wasn't a bummer in the last... In this year?
This year.
If you were like picking your favorite week, do you have one that gets like below average?
Below average? Last week was probably the worst week of the year for me. Last week going into this week.
Worst week of the whole year. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've had some stinkers.
I've had some fucked up weeks thus far, but that last week was probably last week to maybe Monday.
Are you still on your challenge?
Yeah.
Still hanging in.
Yeah.
Maybe
I like lost my focus for a second because all the things that transpired. And, you know, so I think that's why I kind of got into the who the fuck did I marry? You know, it's a way to disassociate from reality. And I think some people can do that when they want to like lose themselves. But like for me, like I would rather see people be a hot mess than like deal with the hot mess that I have going on. Cause it's easier to, you know, the easy part is you can judge from outside, but when you're in a fucked up situation or a hard situation, you can't, you can judge yourself. Obviously you do judge yourself, but there's no, you don't have to sit with it because it wasn't your decision. And then when you're seeing the outside of it, when you're hearing and watching somebody be reckless as hell or do fucked up things, you can kind of be like, well, I wouldn't have did that.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't have did that. And that bitch is dumb. She's dumb as fuck. Like, why would she, you know, so I'm watching, it's like, bitch, move in after 2 weeks. That's stupid. So that every single thing that happened to you after was all you doing this goofy ass shit.
Which could be perfect setup of what the framing of this podcast could have been all along.
What?
You know, like if we reacted differently to one another, and like there's a little bit more of like a therapeutic sense of how we deal with things. But like you have a lot of fucked up stories, and you could replace me with someone who would consistently react in that way,
with
and you could be like,
stories?
no. Oh, I cannot believe he just did that to you. That fucking Tobias, and then we would rail on Tobias. I can't believe there's people like that. I can't believe that happens. Right? There's that energy of reacting to it as though it's not happening, as it's not okay. Instead, we tend to kind of like it ends up ending up here as something we kind of pick through. Yeah. We process it as your responsibility and my responsibility and Nick's, like we take that responsibility on it rather than that sort of like there's a separating. And you can do that with your own life conflicts. You can it's right here, but you can find a way to say, oh, it's only because this other person. Yeah. And then I call my friend up and be like, can you believe that asshole? Yeah. It's like, well, why were you with that asshole?
Well, I mean, yeah. And I think too, like, I mean, we all kind of bring our stuff here. You talk about parenting and life, adulting. You talk about new job and life, adulting, getting married. All, you know what I mean? So I think I think the unique thing about this podcast that we're doing is nobody's anybody's echo chamber.
Right. That's a good way to say it. That's
like we're not each other's echo chamber of like, you know, yeah, that was so fucked up. And yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that's why, I don't know, I think that's why I get bored of listening to like some things. That's why I'll re-listen to fucking episodes of this show and just like have a good laugh. Like that shit was wild as fuck that happened. You know what I mean? And I kind of like the perspective because there's ways that I don't think about things sometimes. And then there's things that I hear about. So like I have like an idea of like having kids or marriage or, you know, finding love. You know, I have these ideas in my head, and then having a person like organically be like, yeah, Mary's not on a fucking sleep schedule. We're tired as a bitch right now, and we're just hoping like we about to start dosing her ass with melatonin. Like she's doing good this week. You know what I mean? Like, but just hearing a little bit of a perspective of like, here's somebody who's not a fucking influencer, just like talking about the real shit that's going on. That's like some real ass shit, and then being able to process that, and then also other people's dreams that they're literally sending is really also pretty tight. So it's like, damn, okay, that's the thing. That's like a vibe.
I'd agree. I also relate a lot to what you were talking about earlier, where it's like, okay, when it's hard to deal with my own shit, it's hard to process my own shit. I find it's not what you're watching, although I do some like true crime stuff. But like for a while, especially when I first got into therapy, I would watch like cop shows, like, you know, those really like procedural, like very generic, stereotypical cop shows. Because it was this weird, almost, I don't know how to describe it, but like, you know, I'd be like worried about, oh, did I mess up with that client? Wow, that was really hard. Oh, I heard that trauma story. And I'm like, okay, but that's a lot to process. So I'd watch the cop show and be like, well, at least I didn't shoot a kid today.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
At least I'm not a crackhead in the streets. Like, you know, and it would make me feel better. Now, did I deal with my stuff? Is that the best way to deal with stuff? I don't know. But that's how I dealt with it.
That's real.
But don't you also think there's a little bit of a balance, like where that's actually healthy?
Yeah.
Like there's an amount of it.
Shoot a kid?
Sometimes, but not. Yeah. No, not really. But like very, very rare circumstances.
Like, you know what?
Like some terrorist moment.
Sometimes these fucking fourth graders need to see who the fuck boss is in the world.
Right. I want paddles in the schools now.
Right.
But like. There's an amount of like, and that's that stuff that it becomes addiction.
Yeah.
It becomes excessive at a time.
Yeah.
When you notice yourself going to it and getting lost in it because you can never come back.
Yes.
And I'm like, I've got things. I'm trying to think of what I relate on of like the ways that I cope, because it isn't TV that way. Like it might be news or it might be something else, but I've never had that. Whereas my wife does, so I can see it happening in her house. She'll like go to it and just kind of like, it's been a rough time, go to other people's stuff and go to other areas.
Yeah.
And I made fun of my mom earlier. Like I think there are real ways that's like a healthy part of like just giving yourself some space to come back to it.
Yeah.
And that's similar with other addictions or other ways to make yourself feel good. Just give yourself a little bit of like a break.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And you're just watching out for balance. Like I've been talking to my kid about addiction today this last week because we watched the Wonka movie and talking about Sweet Tooth and
movie.
Well, the cop is addicted to chocolate.
Oh,
and so then they're bribing
just change the fucking.
So they're
story.
No. This is the pre-story.
Oh,
so in the prequel, Keegan Michael Key, what's his name? Keegan Michael Peele. No,
Key and Peele.
The Key guy.
Oh, Key. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he's the cop, and he keeps getting bigger every time he eats more chocolate. Yeah. And they're bribing him with chocolate to do these dirty deeds to keep Wonka from taking over, right?
Oh my
so he's addicted to chocolate. So we talk about addiction, like I had addiction and like what that kind of is. And even talking about like I think my kids get into like, he could cope with video games with his stress. And like watching that of like, okay, when the stress, like you talked about it with your food thing. Yeah. Like it's one thing for you to go eat out. Yeah. It's another thing for you to go eat out when you're trying to like get rid of a bad feeling. Yes. Now, that doesn't mean you never eat out to get rid of a bad feeling.
Right.
It's just that's the nice thing about a fast or a break or cutting that off is you got to remind yourself that like I don't need it every time.
Yeah.
There's like there's some moderation in there of like it's not bad to go and like watch a TV show to escape, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
But like we've as a country maybe we've taken a little far.
Yeah, if it's that I'm skipping my job because I can't handle it.
Yeah,
like so because I need to be in this TV show or something like that. But yeah, I think I used it as kind of like a reframing device because my anxiety would be like, "You're a piece of shit. You're a terrible therapist. You're a con artist. What are you doing?"
Not a con artist, Nick.
And then I would watch like a dumb cop show and be like, well, I mean, they couldn't charge me with anything, so at least I'm there, you know. And at least, and it sounds silly, but like it's at least that enough to be like, wait, no, Nick, it's not a catastrophe like you think it is.
Is it true of the world? This is a slightly divergent thought, but I'm just picturing both of you in my two peripheries while you say that. Is the people who are the least likely to be a con artist are somehow the most afraid of being it. Like you're far more likely to be a con artist, Casey, and have no con artist fears. You are obviously not a con artist. I was talking to Zachary, who masters this podcast. He was always so worried that he like had done something wrong or was wrongfully incriminated. It's like, what have you done?
Man,
like your credit score is so
real.
high, and you're so worried about not like managing your debt quite right. And you're like, you have the highest credit score you can have, but you're worried. And like,
shit. Yeah.
I'm also get more worried about being a con. Like I'm more worried that people are gonna like, did I lie? Did I say something wrong? Did I not do it? And I feel like people just laugh at me. They're like, who are you stealing from? Like no one.
And that's what I said. Right? I was like, I don't want to go to jail because I have eczema. I don't want to do that because it's like itchy and it's not clean and it's just really weird,
That doesn't stop you from trying to be a con artist.
Oh, no, absolutely not. For sure. I'm trying to do some shit right now if I can. Yeah. Yes, listen.
Do some doxing.
There's always one. I'm just one away, man. Just one away. I just need to win. Mm-hmm. One thing.
And that's what I have to tell myself, though, because you're exactly right, is like when I'm thinking, like, oh, I'm a con artist, I have to be like, you're a terrible con artist. Like, why would you want that con? You're not making very much money. I mean, what are you doing? You're working really hard for not very much money. So, I mean, this is a terrible con. Yes. If you are doing this maliciously, what the hell are you doing? There'd be much more effective ways to be a con artist.
Yes. Yep. But you got it programmed in you so much to be like right and get everything right and not make a mistake. Mm-hmm. And there's a precision in your spirit and your character. And that precision is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. But then it's like the very strength you have ends up being the stranglehold sometimes. Whereas like you and then other people are like, that's your strength. And you're like, it's my strength? I mean, I'm trying super hard to make sure I don't make any one mistake. It's like, no, you are kind of a perfectionist. You're like being very detailed, being very careful. Yeah. There are some very sloppy people out there who are not reflecting at all, who could probably use it. And then meanwhile, my weaknesses are the ones I'm not actually looking at my weaknesses. I'm obsessing over my strengths.
And that's another reframe too, where I'm like, I can't be a therapist. I'm terrible. But then I think of, oh damn, there's probably a lot of just messy shit therapists out there, God. You know, and at least I should be out there because I do worry about it, you know, and I would want my therapist to worry. Yeah. You know, maybe not to an excessive degree, but to care.
Yes. And that's my therapist don't give a fit nut. Okay. My therapist
You have one right now?
Hell yeah. Shout out to Karen Irving. What up, bitch? The fucking ethics queen of Minnesota. Like, literally doesn't live here anymore, but still the ethics queen of Minnesota. Hell yeah. I need to email her ass ASAP.
The ethics queen has a lot of work to do with your ass.
I'm crashing out, man.
Con artist McGee over there trying to be a pirate.
I know. I think, 90% of my conning, scamming, scheming ways is really just about me wanting to be able to handle things that are so much bigger than me. I think that's what it is. So I think, and I think people like misinterpret it sometimes.
Well, because I think it's, when people are talking about, especially like these little scams or like these little ways to like kind of get through. Like I had one client who, was a woman of color, dealing with a lot of mental health issues and felt like, I have to be like exactly right on my job interview. But I was thinking like, but should I, say, like this or that, or should I be, because I feel like I've dealt with a lot of racism. I dealt with a lot of people that are being ableist or don't really, and I'm like, this is a broken system. Yeah. This is a fucked up society. If you need to cut corners, like if you're not hurting anyone and you need to cut corners to succeed in this broken system, I don't really have judgment about that. Yeah. And so I don't know if that's kind of what you're talking to.
Yeah. Kind of like it's just like shit comes up in my life that's so much bigger than me that I don't have the capacity to handle right now at this moment. And I feel like if I was in a different financial place, then I would be in a different life position, then I could brace for this. So like on the surface, it looks like I'm super money hungry and I'm super always on a come up. I even remember my fucking undergrad teacher, shout out to Dr. Seabox. She like brought me, this is fucked up. She brought me in her office and like closed the door and like the chair, it wasn't Dr. Mutter. It was Dr. fucking Marilyn fucking Frost.
Oh, we don't like her. I can tell.
Fucking saying her New York ass name. Okay. Fucking I'm putting her out there. She had fucking hella moles on her face. Okay. And Bucktooth is a bitch. All right. She was a nice lady. But anyways, fucking, I remember that, I don't know. I was just talking about wanting to be rich, wanting to be a therapist and being fucking rich as hell. And like my professor was like, it's been brought to my attention. There's some concern about you being a psych major. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, there's been some ethical concerns about you going into this field. And I'm like, bitch, this is undergrad. Like, what are you talking about here? Like, what's up, Dr. C? Like,
no one's getting licensed yet. What the hell?
I was like, what? Like, what?
You might need to be a sociologist.
Take my money.
Like, yeah. She was like, you know, there's some ethical concerns. She was like, well, just tell me this. You're always talking about being rich. Like, what does that look like for you? And I was like, I just want to have a house. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I want to have my own house and not be worried every week that I don't have enough money to like get to the next week. And I want to have a car that's like paid off. Like, I just want my car fully paid off. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, okay, what else? I'm like, yeah, shit, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? And she was like, what you're talking about is like middle class. Yes. Like, not even high middle class.
Yeah.
But I think that like people on the outside, they hear you saying rich and they're thinking you're talking about yachts. And I'm like, bitch, I don't even know how to swim like that. I mean, I got a good doggy paddle and then we're done here. Like Titanic, I would have been dead. Right. AKA wouldn't have been on it because black people weren't allowed to be on Titanic. But I was just like, oh, and she was like, yeah, that's like, she was like, I think that, you know, and she told me it was Dr. Frost. She's like, Dr. Frost said that you're really hyper focused on being a therapist because you feel like it's going to be able to be like a place where you can get a lot of money in this field. And she's worried that you're going into this with the wrong intentions. And I'm like, well, damn, the fuck? Like,
oh my God, that's
you know,
so
and
terrible on so many levels.
I'll do a shout out to Jennifer Griffin Wiesner, who in an interview with her, I did say that I don't think we'd have a podcast if Casey didn't want to be a millionaire. So that's
big facts.
No, but
the energy is that's what we ride on.
Seriously.
But I think you're so true because, I had a similar kind of conversation with Emily, my partner, in the sense of like, you know, I grew up, you know, upper middle class, and I didn't really have, you know, much issues with finances. I did, you know, it wasn't the thing. And so we have a different relationship with money where she grew up in a different kind of economic status. And so, it's consistently more like, okay, I need to make sure we have money. I need to make sure, like, consistently moving forward with money. And a few times I'd be like, oh, chill out. It's okay. We're fine. You know, it'll be fine. And she's like, you get to say that.
Yeah.
That's your privilege. You didn't really have to know what it's like to be without money or to worry about the food coming in or things like that. And so while it may look on the outside to some folks like I'm really ambitious, all I care about is money, that's a survival mechanic. That's what I need to feel stable and settled. And so I think that's really accurate. So I'm sorry they were saying like thinking like, oh, she must, and also, okay, I just have so many problems with what she said, but like, I'm sorry she took it that way. That's bullshit.
It was so crazy because like she wasn't even my fucking professor. She just was like a professor in the psych department. So like I had her like literally for like gen psych had her, and then I think I had her for like one more psych class, but like I had never had her ever again my whole fucking academic time. So I was just kind of like, bitch, I don't even, you know what it really was though? She was ashy as fuck at me because what happened was, you know, I was pretty deep in my procrastination era, like in my scamming era. So I was just like, so we had to do like it wasn't an integration paper, but it was like your senior capstone thing where like if you're in a psych department, you have to do an internship and then do a paper and do a presentation or some shit like that, right? So like everybody had done theirs and gotten to a certain point where they were going to be able to present at the like psychology symposium that we have internally, which is just all the senior psych majors doing a PowerPoint presentation on their paper. And everybody got to this point and it was like me and Rob Sassetti, aka Rob So Sexy, and like we were both at this point and it was like, you guys aren't gonna make it. Like you haven't done the work to be able to do the next part to get this shit done. And I was in Dr. Seaback's office like crying, like, I don't know, can I do it? And she was like, Casey, it would take like a miracle for you to be able to do this. Like, she's like, just present next semester. And I was like, nah, I know. So I went in the bottom of Mary's. I turned on my Pandora, fucking Billy Joel, and I just fucking cranked it the fuck out. Like, I literally spent 3 fucking days. Like, I didn't go to class at all on Friday. It was like all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday until I fucking missed my first class. And I was like, fuck it. Like, Billy Joel, like.
That's when life gets fun right there.
I'm telling you, I was like, no Adderall, never heard of fucking stories. Adderall. Yeah. I'm fucking like,
those are the best.
Just, I'm crying. It's like 3 a.m. I'm crying. The motherfucking janitor dude came in there like, you can do it, Casey. Cause I be talking to everybody. He's like, don't give up. Da-da-da. He's like, you want me to go in the cafeteria and get you some? I'm like, nah, bro, what they got up there though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's good. Like, I literally was just like bawling every couple of hours. Like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to make it. Cause they were like, you're not going to make it. And I'm like, I'm going to make it. They're like, you're literally not going to be able to make it because you haven't done shit. And I'm like, listen to Tom Petty. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't. And I'm just like, hey, baby. Just like really fucking going.
Yeah.
And then boom.
You're in your home base right there.
Fucking make it.
Yeah, that's where you operate.
Fucking make it. Like, and Dr. Seabach is like,
you cheated.
You fucking made it. She's like, Dr. Seabach is a classy woman from Connecticut. She was like, I just want to let you know that we don't say suckers where I'm from because a sucker's not a person that you want to be. We say lollipops. You're a classy ass bitch, Dr. Seabach. Man, I fucking made it. And Dr. Frost was so fucking mad because she was like, she's not going to make it. Her and Rob have to present next semester and I fucking made it. And she stood in my face like, there's no way you're going to make it. It's impossible for you to make it. You can't do it. So just next semester you can present. And I was like, fuck you, bitch. Like, I'm going to do this.
You meant thank you. You gave me just what I needed to finally get up and do what I needed to do all along.
I hope it was some Machiavellian ploy to get you to do that. But
it was not. She really.
No, it sounds like she's just a terrible teacher.
No, yeah, because fucking.
But it's what gets you to work. Though.
Oh, my gosh. And Rob was like, yeah, we're presenting next semester. I was like, I'm going here, my boy. Like,
I mean, there's a level, like within the procrastination thing, there's like a level of stress you have to have before you're actually going to operate at full level. And that's the sweetest level when you get to it. That's like the on stage land. Like,
oh my God.
You want to create that on stage enthusiasm. And when people put this routine life out of like, you need to do it half an hour every night and just slowly mold your way there and go to bed at 8. Like, fuck that shit.
No.
I'm living for the adrenaline high that's going to come when it happens. Listen. And that's where the brilliant creative is going to come out.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to play for that and I'm going to hit it. So if I haven't done it yet, you just haven't turned up the heat high enough.
Oh my God.
You don't got, I don't see anything coming from me yet. I got to build up the audience out there and get myself knowing that I'm going, and you need a big fucking audience.
Oh my gosh.
Because you wait on all of that until it's like you're about to lose your job and you're like, let's give them another week. 2 more. Oh, they still think I'm going to lose my job. Oh, yeah, let's give them another couple weeks. Yeah. Oh, Casey's up and out. Let's open Excel. Let's go.
It's and it shouldn't be like that, man. I'm not there anymore, but that was when I was peak.
Yeah.
In that place. That was definitely. I mean,
how's your college going right now? You want to take, I'm not there anymore as a snippet in that conversation.
Fuck you, John.
Sorry. I'm a good friend, right?
I mean, better than that.
You're still in it, right?
Yes.
You're still in it. And
I get a message from my professor that said, I'm really worried about you because if you're not done with this by the end of the semester, you're going to be dismissed from the program. Yes, I did get that very dark email from her. In all fairness, I had not turned anything in. Damn, I really did do the same shit. My bad. This is kind of hitting me right now. Oh shit. I hadn't turned in she hadn't seen a version of my paper since the second week of class. And class is almost, she's like, I really need to, I'm very concerned with where you're at. And I'm like, shit. So I met with her Friday and she's like, yeah, really not trying to kick you out of school here. What's up? And I was like, oh, I met with Jennifer Griffin Weezer. Let's not say people's last name because that's how people get doxxed. Don't dox her. Her name is Jennifer. Yeah, okay.
Can somebody, Zachary, can you bleep it out?
Yeah,
Jennifer,
bleep it out. Sexy bleep. Jennifer bleepity bleep. Bleepers. Anyways, so yeah, there's like fucking hella Jennifers all in the world. Who knows what that could be? Right. So
this organization.
Met with her. She interviewed me for her data PhD situation, and I was like, damn, can I steal your research questions? Can you
con artist?
I was like, can you send me your research questions for reference so I can see how they're written maybe? And she was like, yeah. Baby, I tried to steal them motherfuckers so quick.
She does listen to this, so.
I know. It's okay. I didn't steal your stuff. I did not take your intellectual property. I was like, damn.
Intellectual property.
Like,
I don't think
you
she
took the masters.
I took the masters.
Sorry, before we started.
Research masters.
Yes.
Before we started, we were explaining masters to Casey. Because she was talking about people buying and owning masters to music, so that's the long joke of right beforehand. We were the music industry lesson.
No, yes. So I did not steal her research questions, and also they were worded so specific to her research. The amount of time it would have taken me to tweak them to make them applicable to what the fuck I was doing, I was like, I'm better off just doing the fucking research. So I just was doing it, but.
Yep.
And then I was like, I also told her another reason I could not steal her research questions is because I also told her I wanted her to look at my research questions. So I was like, fuck. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, whatever. But I got it. So she gave me feedback. I just got it. She was like, wow, you're really on fucking fire. She's like, listen, why do you have an extension in this class? I was like, oh, because I got ADHD. And she was like, great. I'm about to go to the fucking dean's office, see if we can get you fucking extension. Like, I'm going to advocate. She's like, unfortunately for you or fortunately for you, I'm about to go on PTO for 3 weeks. I'm like, bitch, are you pregnant? She was like, no, I'm just going on PTO for 3 weeks. She was like, but your class is over in 3 weeks. So she's like, well, actually, when your class is over, then I'm going to be on PTO for 3 weeks. So what we could do is you could have a break to like finish. When I'm on PTO for these 3 weeks, you could be done with the class. And then I could put you in part 2 for the lit review section. And then you could just finish up whatever you don't finish in part 1. Or I could go on PTO and like you could have those 3 weeks to finish up the edits and revisions, and then I'll pass you. Or I don't know, she gave me like 4 options, and I was like, bitch, whatever will give me time. Okay, that's what you do. And she was like, okay, cool. So that's what I did. But
no, you see,
and she read my shit. She was like, you know, you're super close. Like, you're super close to being done, because I'm done with it. The thing is, it's like the edits, the fucking revisions. It's just like, oh, say more about this. Can you cite? So in vivo, for you guys who don't know, in vivo is like a fucking tool, right? A recording tool where if somebody's interviewing, it's listening, and then it records the whole interview and it types up all the things from the interview, and then any themes, it goes through, transcribes everything, and then pulls out the themes and puts into like what they call nodes or whatever, like where it's like, oh, whatever theme pops out for you, because people used to be doing this shit by hand, right? So it does all that for you, and then you can just say, here's the common themes that popped up in the people that I interviewed. Here's the correlate. You can just analyze the qualitative data. What the fuck ever. So I'm like, shit, I'm gonna use in my purpose, like how I'm gonna do it, like my purpose of the study. I'm like, I'm gonna use in vivo. I need citations about this. Bitch, it's $1,200. What else do you want me to say? Yeah, you got to go on the website and like cite some shit about it. Like, I'm like, so what, you want a picture of the motherfucker on a commercial or what? Like, you want me to put a YouTube link or what?
Like reviews?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's been right. Like the fucking, yeah.
Okay, so to type this dissertation, I use Microsoft Word, and that's a very popular application to use. It's been used for like 40 years.
Yeah, but you got to cite it.
And the New York Times and the Washington Post both say they use it.
Yeah.
I love this problem. I'm sorry that you're in the crosshairs of it,
John
but
Wood.
I love this problem. And it's about like the whole collegiate testing, papers, citing, the whole thing is falling apart now.
Yeah, it is. Where the fuck is ChatGPT?
ChatGPT is the beginning. It's like the bad guys like showing up in the movie and you've seen him, you know he's lurking out there, and they're like, how do we need stronger walls and better locks for this brilliant system that stops cheating and keeps everyone of greatest integrity and everything of great honor on our system. And it is, they try. And we're trying. But it's like every once in a while you got to just burn down the forest and you got to start again. And what's coming in with these outside bots, and that's part of what this is and part of why they're going to be anxious about it, is that they're going to start bringing in the ability to just wreck that whole system. It doesn't matter where the thing comes from. This even gets to the master's conversation, because we're going to lose that idea of like, oh, something generated from me, therefore I possess it. Which I'm sorry, I have a spiritual perspective that says that is the most fucking bullshit that ever could exist. The ideas come from me. They come through me, not from me. You know, God writes these rhymes to me. I just listen to them. I mean, I love that line from Gift of Gab.
Yeah.
And like it's you hear what happens and it comes through, and then in America we go, oh well, I better put a flag in it and possess it and then own it and then make other people feel small because I have it. And then we live in that space. And I'm hoping that we come in with these outside things to say, who owns what now? Because if my bot goes up and gets all of it, then I can just make my own music. I can make my own songs. I can write my own stories. I can.
That's what they're doing. That's what they're fucking doing. That's what people are literally doing. This New Year's, fucking Kendra, I like went to her house, and like her and her husband are like, okay, is it time? Yeah, give out the fucking potatoes. So everybody got a potato. Oh no, it was an onion. Everybody got an onion. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing with these fucking red onions? And Alex read a story about how in like a remote village that they, at the first of the year, they used to give onions and they represented this and this and this. So we're all going to give reverence, like to take an onion. And now everybody like can like bite out of an onion to like bring in the new year. I'm like, bitch, I ain't biting no onion. That's some white people shit, right? So they all bite onions, and I'm like, no.
I'm not biting an onion.
Fucking 3 minutes later, Kendra's like, hey, Alex, you want to tell him? And he's like, yeah, this is all bullshit. A ChatGPT wrote this whole thing, and we were just like, write up a story about a reason for, like, write up an origin story for red onions, like that we can use for the first of the year. Like, give us a story. And it gave this most profound, like, it was like a deep story, like, you know, like all everybody's like, you know, nodding and like, you know, feeling all Norwegian and shit, like just really leaning into their fucking Nordic ass heritage, and it was fucking from a computer.
Did either of you get a chance to read the description from the
I did
last podcast? It was so weird.
It was we're gonna keep it from humans. Like, we're gonna keep the human. I was like, damn, these computers are really taking over. And now there's a AI.
They already are taking over.
Yes.
And this just helps us get to that next phase of realizing what we're doing is we're augmenting ourselves through computers. And it sounds terrifying. It's like, well, what if all of a sudden they do the augmenting? Well, okay, fine. The world could end 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
And maybe that's possible. It's still extremely unlikely. ChatGPT is not sentient. ChatGPT is a random guessing thing that makes mistakes and has errors. Now, where we can get in a lot of trouble is when we augment ourselves and we don't pay responsibility to caring for what's going on. And we have shown
what the fuck does that mean?
We have shown
what does that mean?
What does that mean? What does that mean? That means that we take care of how our devices and technology works, so that when we hand our fucking phone to our children, we know what the fuck the phone does. You don't hand the phone to the children, send them on social media apps, and the social media app is designed to take the control from the child and you and manipulate them into whatever fucking form sells their product. We're already doing it. We're already handing ourselves to the robots and going, oh my gosh, social media is causing them to commit suicide. Oh my God, Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg need to answer for this shit. No, they don't need to answer for this shit. We're part of it. We don't want to take responsibility for our actions. We're handing our responsibility to them. And we're going to do the same thing with ChatGPT until it fucks us over, because we deserve to be fucked over. If you don't want to take responsibility for how these powerful tools are going to be used in our society, then what are you going to get? And we're already doing it. And then we're playing the victim. We're going, oh my God, woe is me. It's like, you know, part of the problem is I can't buy a device that I have control over anymore. They make them so you don't. You have to work so hard. You have to go against the grain.
They're selling you keyboards that were like typewriters that you can attach to your computer.
Like a typewriter keyboard?
Yeah.
Why would that? What?
I'm just saying, like, you're saying, like, there's no technology that you own that you have full control over. Like, and I was thinking, yeah, it is like a typewriter, but like they're selling you things to like appear like you have control over it, but you don't.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's not just them, like even their narrative. It's like, it's not they're selling it. It's that inside this device, like so much is automated.
Yes.
That we have to know that whoever's automating it has to have a same sort of, there's virtues and morals and values to that.
Oh, yeah,
whereas
that
right now
exist.
it's the market. There's no regulating body that has control over it. It's whatever sells, and we're just riding that out. And our mental health is plummeting, and we're headed off in all these different directions. And I think until we've paid the piper enough to wake up from the slumber, like we deserve.
But let me tell you where it gets scary. Okay, I mean it's already.
It's
scary.
not scary.
It's scary, but let me tell you where it gets crazy scary. Okay, a few weeks ago, boom, AT&T goes down, right?
Mm-hmm.
AT&T, like Verizon, like I mean, I was talking shit about Jamaica, like talking to my homeboy Andre, like, hey man, we need to make a fucking phone company and go to Jamaica because all they have is Digicel. There's no other phone company in the entire country, just fucking Digicel. That's it. So I was like, we should just make some fucking another goddamn company, and then we could be the contender for Digicel, right? So I was like thinking about that, like, okay, another scam, right? So I'm just like, right. Maybe fucking who knows? But
a lot of missing skills there.
Yes. I was thinking about that, but then I was like, okay, so AT&T fucks up, whatever, boom. So then this week, motherfucking Facebook, Instagram, like all the social media was like down at the same time.
Yep.
And like, it was so crazy because I like tried to log in. I was trying to show somebody something and I was like, oh, it's not working. But then like the amount of like clients who had kids or they themselves were talking about just the sheer panic freaking out that they did when like their shit was down for like a small amount of time. I was like, what if it wasn't even down? What if they just wanted to track how like frantic you became with like whatever
deep movie plot?
Yeah, maybe, but I'm just saying.
That's why I collect physical media. I'm just saying. That's why I have CRT TVs and stuff that
What the fuck is CRT TV?
So remember those big old tube TVs?
You do not have a fat ass TV like that with the big back.
I do, because now they only sell smart TVs. And they're already talking about Roku saying if you don't agree to their terms and conditions, it doesn't work as a TV anymore. It just bricks. Mm-hmm. Because it's smart TV and all the applications and it's a computer inside.
Yes.
And so that's fucked up. Yeah. So that's why I still keep all my TV. And you can't buy a TV that's not a smart TV anymore. You have to go really hard to go in, like figure that out.
Which is an incredible amount of trust.
Yeah.
That you're giving to Roku.
Exactly.
Are you comfortable giving Roku that trust?
No.
You have no fucking choice.
Right.
It's like the fucking government. If the cop wants to pull you over, or if Roku doesn't want you to use TVs, and what we're going to get is more and more Roku, Netflix, Twitter, Instagram. They're going to get that same power. And we're going, you know what? The market can just dictate it. And I'm saying, I say conservatives. This is Democrats and liberal. This is everybody. That's why it doesn't matter who you vote for, because they're all just saying, just let the powers be go and let it work itself out. Yeah. And we're going to get there. And they'll pull them into Senate and talk to them about it, but they can't keep up with it.
Like, have you seen these motherfuckers? Have you seen these old ass, these people who fart dust talking to these motherfucking young tech geeks like, so it's got all my information. Is that constitutional? And they're like, Senator, like, what part are you asking? Is it constitutional? With all of it, every bit of it. Is this okay? So it's got all my banking and all of the right here in my hand. Well, what about national security? It's just a bunch of angry ass grandparents, like with too much fucking power, like getting mad, trying to yell at the TV, right, or yell at the fucking computer. Where I don't know, man. It's like, it's a rabbit hole. Then there's all these conspiracy theories, and
so you ask yourself, there are two possibilities all the time.
Yes.
You're going to die or you're going to live. And that's true in your life. And that's true of our world as a whole as well.
Yeah.
And they're both realistic possibilities.
Yes.
And we probably should have ended at the nuclear bomb. I'm surprised that you handed if you would have said, I handed the nuclear bomb to just like miscellaneous leading humans in these political institutions, nobody's going to blow the whole planet up. Apparently it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So now we carry on, and now we're at the next episode.
Yeah.
We've passed that dark chapter. And now I think we're headed towards that next one. And part of it is that we have had to learn to trust each other across countries, not to blow each other up or fight in any wars.
Yeah.
Now there's a next step. I don't know what that step is,
Yeah.
but it's that trust. And right now we're putting it in blindly without stewarding it at all.
Are we lovingly putting it
there's
in
a price
blindly,
to come.
though?
There's a price to pay.
Yeah.
And once we start really paying that price and our services start shutting off and we realize that we cannot function, run our businesses, run our lives, feed our families, take care of ourselves at all without these augmenting things that we don't even know how to operate.
Man.
Well, another big hack that happened was that clearinghouse thing where this big conglomeration, and not a Fortune 500 company, a Fortune 5 company that handles all of our insurance data, all of how we process it. Yeah, National Clearinghouse, all of that stuff. And
they got hacked.
Yeah, big time. And they had to pay ransom people like $22 million. And luckily, like, it doesn't sound like any client data was released. But my partner is a therapist who, private practice, and she can't get paid until they figure their shit out.
What?
And it's been like 2 weeks because of all this. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Oh, it's not a monopoly. It's fine that these conglomerations can bigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, but they forgot to do cybersecurity.
Yes.
Yes. Now that's all our problem.
Damn, clearinghouse got hacked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, hackers. Now, I said this last time. I think y'all are listening. Anonymous. Thank you. Wrong ones, bro. Okay.
Casey to the dark web.
Okay. We want to do Nelnet. Okay. I don't want to say my full name because I don't want to get doxxed. But I went to Argosy.
Wait, you're not saying your full name?
St. Mary's University.
It's on the
I have
titles.
Perkins loans. Okay. If you just go toward the Perkins people.
Perkins,
not the restaurant. Okay.
calling the dark web.
Please.
Speaking to the algorithm.
Listen, we're getting close. Maybe, listen, okay, I don't want to say we do have people who are listening to the show from all over. Okay. Shout out to my girl, Awet. All right. She is in DC, probably on a treadmill, doing her fabulous life thing. Okay. Yes. We have people from all over, coast to coast, probably international. Listen to the show. If anyone is in contact with the dark web or anonymous, please do that shit to Nelnet, okay, or the Perkins loan people. You close. I feel like you were listening, okay, but we're just lateral move here, guys. I need these student loans gone. And
the thing you're missing is that they're not looking for when we get into that space where some people are fighting against the system, and more and more people are fighting against the system because we've lost faith in the contract, which makes sense. There's just more and more people that have lost faith with it. Stealing from Target is normal. Stealing from places is normal. We're just getting into that level of anarchy. So they're going in there to steal things for themselves. They're not going to try to help you.
Well, shit, what's up, Snowden? I'm trying to figure it out, okay? While you doing that, if you want to kick over some shit.
Casey, you have other strengths. They are not technology. Speaking as the person who helps you with your technology.
I know. Technology is not. No, it's
but I wish
not.
that they would let you
could be a director of hackers. Do this.
If I could.
Yeah, you'd have good ideas.
Right? That's what I wish I could just have a job where I just sit in a room and think. And like, because I'm such an ideas gal.
Yeah, like a director, visionary role.
Yes.
Yeah, and I wish, think tanks were actually like a thing.
Yeah, because they are, but like you gotta like.
We're a think tank, right?
Well, that's what. But I mean, no one's ever been able to define that for
and
me.
Nobody's trying to pay us. If you are interested in paying the three of us to think of some ideas, into the dream bucket at gmail.com.
We will write you a paper. We will not use a bot for it, but we will do it at least 1 month after the deadline upon 4 threats. You need 4 threats.
You might as well just send threats like right at the beginning.
Yes, just
threaten us in the beginning. Yes, indeed.
The contract will be like, we will end this contract if you do not. Dream bucket?
Dream bucket.
Anybody in the bucket?
Dream bucket, yes.
Dream bucket. Dream bucket. Dream bucket. Dream bucket. Go into the dream bucket. Go into the dream bucket. Okay.
I like that song.
There we go. We'll have to remember it.
Oh, shit. You know,
it's
Johnny,
recorded.
You know what you are? You're like a fucking battle rapper, okay? Because you be like off the fly coming up with some dope, cold little songs, and he'd be like, "Oh, John, say that again." You'd be like, "What?"
But I can But when I put words to the freestyle rap, it eventually gets embarrassing. I don't know how they do it with the words. See, I can freestyle lines and all that stuff forever.
Oh, they write.
But when they're making it up, though.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're making it up with words and they go for minutes and it still sounds smooth and cool.
Yeah.
I don't have the lyrical mix with it. I just get musical.
Oh, I do. Nah, I don't get musical.
Right. So we gotta freestyle at the same time by linking up our brains through a chat GPT.
Mind meld.
Yep. Hashtag Star Trek. Okay.
Who's up? Who's on first?
Well, this one, I don't know.
Shit.
Start with what he thinks is the worst one.
Yeah.
I dream of tomatoes.
I know who did that. He's currently playing a show in Nashville.
Tomatoes.
And then the first thing I thought of was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, but that's just me.
Was that a song?
No, it's two films. One starring...
Not two, though. Nobody just said we're going to make a salad.
It was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Return of the Killer Tomatoes. One of them has Jeff Goldblum in them.
Did anybody make a salad?
I don't know. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen the first one in years.
Okay, because that would have been a very short movie. Okay.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Okay. Well, what do you think of tomatoes?
I don't like them.
You don't like
them? They're fine. You know, like
I mean, I guess I like sauce
hidden
and stuff,
in something.
Do you like fried green tomatoes?
No.
I don't know.
Have you ever had them?
I'll eat it.
Okay. On the way to Winona, there's a place that looks like fucking Whistle Stop Cafe.
Let's go do a tour in Winona. You know a place?
Yeah.
That'll pay us like enough to get there and back.
Hell yeah.
To do a live podcast.
Bruce,
listen. Tell them we got 20,000 downloads.
The fucking business office of St. Mary's can sponsor us.
We should show up at your college and just like set up the rig and be like, remember me, bitches. I'm big now.
The only person that's still there is Dr. Seabuck.
So that
OG and ass. But yeah. Okay. I like tomatoes because of the metaphor. My grandma and my mom and like everybody except me, because I don't like dirt, but like I have a lot of gardeners in my family, so like that's the first thing they're always growing is like tomatoes and like everything.
Yeah, I wish I did like tomatoes because I feel like that would be something you could grow.
Do you like pizza?
Yeah, I mean I like the sauces tomatoes come from, but I don't like the fruit itself.
I have found that a lot of times like the tomatoes on like burgers and things like that. Like a lot of my life they've been just really crappy cheap tomatoes. And then like if it's a good tomato and it's got a little bit more like flavor to it, it can be a nice touch. And I've then enjoyed it because otherwise if I notice the tomato I'm like, what is this? Just like wet tastelessness.
Because I had one yesterday because we did a tasting for our reception.
Oh yes,
and which was very fun. And so one of them is like for vegetarians, so I tried it still. And yeah, I found myself just avoiding it. I was like, oh, this is weird, but maybe I should just be like, calm down, Nick. It's gonna be okay. Just objectively try this out. You aren't a child anymore, but we'll see.
You know what? Really, honestly, you can, because I hated onions. And I could not stand green peppers or any kind of pepper, yellow, green. Found out yellow, green. What's the other one? Red.
Red, yeah.
They're all the same pepper. Just they were picked at various stages. Yeah, I used to pick them out of spaghetti when I was a kid. And my mom would get so fucking pissed.
The person who sent this in, you can look them up as Lion the 7th on Instagram for those social medias. This is his only social media post until like a week ago.
Nice. What is it? Let me see. That's creepy as fuck. But it's a tomato.
It's just a picture of a tomato.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like some.
It does kind of look creepy.
It's very creepy.
Like the shadow. Probably low lights, right?
Look, listen. Okay. All right. There we go with tomatoes.
I dream of becoming a god. Now, this is a lot of layers because becoming a god could be like one of the gods, and now you're like a Greek story where you just have a lot of powers, but you're not the god. Or is it becoming God, which would be becoming what exactly? Like the force that holds the universe together and decide, now we got to decide what that is.
I don't like that.
I mean, I don't want to be the Greek version of gods. Those suck. Those just sound like just people with way too much power. Things go bad.
We're just fucking everybody.
Like, and then
did Zeus get the clap is the real question.
I don't know.
Think about how many bitches he got pregnant. Oh. Did he ever get the clap? Did Zeus get the clap?
The God clap.
The God clap. Was it a thunderbolt or was he peeing gonorrhea? Sounds to me like Zeus had a venereal disease. But yeah. I don't know, because it's like becoming a God or becoming like you yourself right now, snapshot where you are, because that wouldn't work.
I mean, I believe that you actually like in waking up to your like spiritual connection to God, you actually are becoming God.
Mm.
Yeah, because it depends on how you define God. Because if I'm trying to pick which one I could actually kind of live with, and we've already talked about like superpowers and what you do with them. And so if it was like a God where you could turn invisible and do some shit, maybe, but yeah, then it gets tricky, because I wouldn't want to become like, if we're thinking like Christian, the God or monotheistic, then it's like that's way too much responsibility. That's just crazy.
It's flooded again. Fuck that.
No,
one person, please.
That's just doing too much.
Please.
And if it's like Greek gods, then it's like, are there other gods I gotta like fight and have like family drama with?
Yes, right.
Do I have another responsibility?
My family has enough powers for the drama.
Right.
You don't need to just add superpowers.
No,
so I mean, I'm fine with superpowers, but God,
no.
Barring aside any sort of morality or anything like that, it just sounds like doing too much.
How could you be, if you were God in that concept of the Christian version and you're up there, how the hell could you sleep at night and not worry about having fucked some shit up? I mean, I say regularly, like, Judgment Day is going to be me evaluating him, not the other way around. I mean,
Judgment Day comes and John just is like at like a life-size ginormous Excel spreadsheet, just sitting there with fucking an angel, like, okay, all right, so F39, is there a way to run this through?
I'd be like, did you have to do Gaza like that? Was that did you have
just
to?
John's having
how
just
did this
one
work out?
huge ass Excel spreadsheet.
Could everybody have gotten along better?
Man.
Like, was that one of the options in the programming, God, or was it like the code you were working with? Like,
oh my gosh. No, not to be a heretic, so I won't even speculate. I would not want to be the Lord.
Are you calling us heretics?
I would not want to be the Lord.
I'm self-defined as that, so I'm fine.
I would not want to be the Lord. I think that I'm too petty. I'm too petty. This earth would have been multi-flooded. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this shit would have been over a while ago. A fucking first person
rich.
to be like, I don't believe in you. Okay, bitch, believe in this. Okay, fire, earthquake, flood, you're done. Like, okay,
now here's an interesting spin on it though, because I was playing the new Mortal Kombat game, and in the story of that, the main hero Liu Kang becomes a god. Basically, he's like controlling like the universe. But what he does is, okay, I'm going to recreate the universe. And then I'm going to peace out and not be a god anymore and just let it go.
It's irresponsible as hell.
And it's like,
right there.
and so it's like, he's like, I'm going to get what I want out of it, reset the universe, make it so that people, like that the universe can be more likely to succeed in his view. But then just be like, okay, but I don't want that power anymore. Like, it's not a permanent.
I like that.
Fucking irresponsible as hell.
No, that's how you need to do it.
Next dream,
and that's what the plot of is it that what you're doing. Yes, half of them are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then half of them are like, "Okay, that kind of makes sense." So like, that's what the story's about.
You can't do some shit like that because I don't know. Lord, give me strength. Anyways, next dream. It's too much.
He's already in you.
Oh yes, he is. Thank you, Lord. I dream of whatever happened to my childhood dreams, ? Well,
whatever happened to my last week dreams?
To be honest.
Well, with the question, I'm just curious, like, what happened to them physically? like well, when they just like stomped on in an alley somewhere.
I still own the masters.
Like, right.
Still got the copyright.
Shit. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Diallo fucking Green happened. Okay, I'm always gonna name names. Nope,
there's a person who deserves lightning for this.
It was Dominic Green.
You would have been perfect.
I would have been a ballerina.
It would all come true.
I was really into ballet, super into ballet. Had a ballet teacher. Oh, and then this kid said, "There's no such thing as a fat ballerina."
Yep.
And I was just like. That's okay, cool. But I'm pretty cold at this ballet thing. And then I was like, Miss April, can I be a ballerina even though I'm fat? And she was like, yeah. And I just didn't trust her yet. It just sounded like it sounded like she was just trying to reassure me, like, oh, it's okay. And then I was like looking
she knew
at
the truth that you wouldn't make it past. No, I mean, you can't be 5'5" and be a ballerina.
No, but I'm 5'3", swarthy.
Well, you got that part. I was like, the size constraints. You must be 5'2" and 100 pounds.
Yep. So then my mom bought me a ballerina book where you could write your name in it, and it had a black ballerina, and I was gonna get the point shoes and everything, and then I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
That sucks.
And Mom was like, what? I was like, yeah, I don't want to fucking watch this Alvin and Haley shit. Oh my gosh. Maybe shit. We'll never know.
I know one friend that. I have I have a couple of friends that made a professional dancer, but like the one couple we lived with, yeah, but like you can only make it to 26, 27. You get one injury away from your career being over, and and she killed herself.
It's very much like, why
26, 27?
Well, it's like athletes.
It's physical.
Yeah, it's like you can only, like, your body can only be that shape for a limited amount of time.
Oh my God.
And so then after that, you become a teacher, or you're like, oh, I was a star, like an athlete. So I blew all my money, and now I don't know what to do with myself. I mean, that's the thing.
Like those girls from Dance Mom.
Casey, the thing about most of your dreams is that they're built in like the delusion that you saw on TV, and you don't realize that they're actually just as ugly as the life you're living right now. And they're all ugly. The millionaire's dream is ugly. The ballerina success story is ugly. The superstar musician's dream is ugly. They all have ugliness and struggle. I mean, you got it written right there. I was reading on your planner because I stole your Post-it so I could write food all over myself. And like, you know, like if you don't struggle, you don't exist. And whichever dream you pick, you're going to struggle just the same as you're struggling right here. So you go to the end of every one of those stories, and I'm not saying being a ballerina is terrible. I'm sure some people have found joy in it.
Yeah.
But like, oh, there's a grind to that one. And there's real grind. But they do feed us with our childhood dreams. When we're children, they feed us with the rosy side of these dreams. And they go, you want to be this, and they tell you the lofty things about this is how I was raised. So I'm not raising my kids that way. Like, you're going to hear the plus of it and the nasty of it. You want to be a police officer? That's great. But you got to know. But you got to know what you
get. You might shoot a kid. You might shoot a fucking kid.
You might have to shoot a kid.
Yeah.
And that kid might be 18 or might be 23
or 12.
But we know a lot of those are still kids.
Yeah.
Just because they hit 18, they're just kids, and they're making mistakes. And you might get in a spot where you got to make that decision. You're going to be hated by people for what you did. You're going to wear the uniform of people who have abused their power many times before you and have created a prejudice. But that doesn't mean don't do it.
Daddy Darko, everybody.
It's balance. It's balance. But instead filling our kids with heads of false dreams, so they go hoping, and then they get cynical and let down once they become of age.
And I also wanted to be a scientist, and my mom bought me a microscope, and I used to make potions, and I was really invested in that. And I wasn't good at math. So I found out I can't be a scientist.
Found out you can't be a scientist.
Yeah, that was when I was probably like 4th grade. 3rd grade.
You just could have been a scientist that wasn't as good as the other scientists.
I was told at the time.
See, that's
you're not good at math, so you can't be a scientist.
Thing, especially because they didn't give you that, like, what you talked about, like with your academics earlier. If they would have been like, you can't do it, but we're going to build an environment for you to try, try, you maybe could, because you needed that fucking energy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're just like, no, it's an inevitability. What are you going to do with that? That's fucked up that they did
Minneapolis
that
Public Schools, like fucking jaded ass tenured teachers in fucking elementary school.
There's an old mindset to people can and can't do stuff.
Yeah.
And can't sing is the one that gets me most riled up. The number of people who told me they can't sing, which is a load of shit.
Wait, what?
From whoever says it.
Why?
People say they can't sing all the time because they were told they can't sing.
Yeah.
They can't sing because we only listen to people sing individually by themselves. No culture is healthy that has people sing individually by themselves, Taylor Swift and Friends. I'm sorry, but like we have created singing and voice in a way that is not productive to building and raising up our spirits. Like you lift your voice together, and if you're not as good as singing as I am, just sing a little quieter. I'm plenty fucking loud.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. We're not about being in front of, there's a point to have a choir.
And John's saying this because he has the voice of an angel.
But I want everybody to
sing.
And
your dad.
Because I have a voice of an angel, as you say, then that means to everybody else, they say, oh, well, now you need to go on stage so we can look at you and we can oogle and ogle and shit like that. It's like, no, I want to sing. I want to lead you in song. I want you to come sing with me and we can sing together. But you told me you can't sing.
And see, that's the thing. And I think a lot of people do assumptions because it's a semantics thing. It's different to say, I can't sing well, to I can't sing because people assume, oh, you can't do something if you don't do it well.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's like, you know, or, and so
100%.
That's fucked up.
100%.
Yeah.
That's really fucked up.
Because you want to do all the things, you know? And so the lesson is, Casey, you can be a scientist. In order for you to be a scientist, here's the extra work you got to put in.
Yeah.
Don't get discouraged because Johnny over there didn't have to put that work in. He just is more natural at the math stuff. But you bring something else to the table. We all bring different skills.
It was long division. You know, it was where you have to have the R was the remainder. Is that? Yeah. And the fucked up thing was later on I got it. But it was just like...
it just took you a little longer.
Yeah, I just, you know...
And I got a son who regularly, when the first time he notices that he's not as good as somebody else at it, or he thinks it's not coming easily or naturally, because that's what you watch TV, and all the TV shows you watch as a kid, everybody just has a problem, and then they figure it out by the end of the episode.
Yeah,
and then
like
you go and you try to learn it
minutes.
on your own, and he goes like, he went to karate 3 times, and he was like, I quit. I didn't learn a backflip yet. And you're like, and we've said the opposite to him 1,000 times, but you still you get this idea in your head that like if you're not good or great at something, there's no sense in doing it.
Yeah.
And then we're pushing all the children and all the people to like hyper get good at one thing. We're not being well rounded anymore.
Yeah.
You're just being an athlete, but then where's your art? You're just being a therapist, but then where's your math? Like you can be decent at math too.
Yeah.
And there's times when your math's going to help you when you're trying to do your finances.
Yeah.
So keep getting a little better at math.
Yeah.
You don't never need to be as good as Savant over there.
Corey Bird.
You don't ever need to be that good.
But
what happens is you give up on your math. I know a lot of people who do this. I got a close family who does this with finances. You know, says I'm bad at it, and then just doesn't do it. Well, now you really suck.
Now
you haven't even paid your fucking bills because you just are committed to being bad. It's like you can be good enough. You know, you don't have to be that good. You can just do a little bit at a time and develop those skills when life asks you to develop them. But I hate that can't shit.
Yeah. Don't let people fuck your dreams over, guys.
No, and be dark about them and realistic, and and also enjoy the hell out of them.
And find a fatback TV.
A fatback TV? That's what you call it?
That's what I just
I like that term. I don't know if that's the term.
Fatback TV.
Got a little junk in the trunk with the TV.
That's
Give me a fatback TV
to
watch.
Find it.
All right. Thank you for dream bucketing.
Dream bucket. Dream bucket. Dream bucket.